So, as we continue to gear up for St. Patrick's Day, as promised, I will be showcasing another beautiful Irish film today. So, I did actually try to record this video earlier. I tried to do it last night, and Bugley threw an absolute fit. Bugley, of course, being my English bulldog. Growled and barked throughout the entire thing. Could not get him to settle. I'm still fighting my own war of independence here in my own home. I'm still fighting for my voice and my right to celebrate in the Irish heritage. He actually just perked up from his bed right now, and he literally, when he heard that, like, maybe I should bark and growl and sabotage this one as well. But I will not let his brutish bullying ruin this one, because it's worth bringing to you, all right? And he needs to sit his ass down for this one. But I do want to caution you in the same vein. It is unfortunately another pairing with a British film. I know. I hear you. I feel you. To assuage you maybe a little bit though, I did call up the Irish Cultural Council, got them on the phone, said, "Look, guys, I really need you to hold court on this issue. I really need some good advice right now." And they let me know, they were like, "Look, we trust your good Irish judgment. We fully support you as a great Irish woman. And look, we will grant special permission only because of who you are, your voice in the Irish community, as well as the fact that these films do really complement each other so strikingly. um, and of course, they couldn't admit this on the record, and they will have to deny this publicly. But I will let you all know on the DL, they were just like, "And that Ben Wheatley, shit, dude, that got fucking rules, all right." And I was like, you know what? To be honest, guys, he is kind of king. I don't know. I do think he rules. I do love his other films so much. But not more so than our very own homegrown Lock and Finnegan, who's just as fucking sick. So settle in with two psychedelic ego whores you may never come back from. Without Name, that came out in 2016, paired with In the Earth, that came out in 2021. So if you've seen any other of Finnegan's other work, which I highly, highly recommend you do, you've come to understand that he is quite the vibesman. I am quite the vibesman myself. I believe that vibes are the connective tissue of our entire world. And I think by the end of these two, you will come to that understanding as well. The Beast Awakens. Ugly, I mean, it's been really a difficult time for us. I'm gonna keep going anyway though, but he is mad dogging me. I just want you to know that there is an elderly English bulldog mad dogging me the entire time I do this. Um, but I will not let it intimidate me. This is important stuff and I need to deliver it. So I will keep going. I will not let his British boots crush our barley. But back to the film, Finnegan's other work, he's quite the vibesman. I consider myself a bit of a vibesman myself. And the film features really striking cinematography, highlighting nature's beauty, along with the utter dread of how distant we have come from our natural habitat. We've dulled our survival instincts, become really like a shell of ourselves in the pursuit of modern convenience. And I also love Finnegan's pet theme of modern masculinity. He really meditates on masculine strengths and weaknesses and how those have evolved and not necessarily the most conducive way, to put it lightly. um, because the world requires a divine balance, masculine, feminine. Each side offers powerful and necessary traits. One should never lord over the other. And we should really take caution in the way that we demonized what has been socialized for so long. It isn't as simple as flipping a switch. Course correcting so drastically erodes all nuance. It's important to remember that things created on paper rarely work as perfectly in the real world. With the rise of various waves of feminism, we forget that it isn't just us that suffers under strict patriarchal design. While we may try to get rid of traits that we have deemed unpalatable to equality, we're doing so in such a surface level that things may aesthetically appear to be progressing, but we're just creating a new house of cards. If we continue to change the goalposts, the whole thing is going to come crashing down. So, in this film, it's created a family system in which Eric is mercilessly cheating on his wife, and who literally grits her teeth at any routine physical affection. She hates it. And his son is more invested in his tablet and refuses to display even the most minimal acknowledgement that his father even exists. So his job really gives him, time away from this soulless and existence. He's offered the opportunity to return to his base instincts, surveying and studying the land, being among the dirt and the grit and the earth, while ultimately destroying the very place that he finds this unique peace. When he meets this like van lifer guy in the small town that he's been sent to survey, he doesn't exactly heed his warning that the woods are not a place for a man like him. Folk tales always pull from some sort of reality. And he gets the tea. The guy who lived in the house that he's currently staying at went missing not too long ago, only to be found catatonic, naked, near dead. Nobody knows what happened. Ominous. There's definitely something weird going on out there, but who's to say if it's internal or external forces going on at this point? Equipment starts to get destroyed. Eric's eyes start to play tricks on him. He loses time, sense of direction, but this is the remote forest. He's under a lot of stress. So it can kind of be explained by those things at this point. Like there's his family life, of course, going on, but his employer is also really strangely evasive about what he's doing there at all. It turns okay for a little while when his free spirited sex doll comes into town, but the thing about free spirited bitches, they're free spirited bitches. She encourages Eric to forget his job, throw his responsibilities into the wind, take psychedelics, and then she very obviously begins a very overt fuckfest with the van lifer guy throughout the film. She has not a care in the world, no instinct to be had, and doesn't need one. Of course, his mental state goes from on the verge of panic attacks to full on anxiety attacks to complete and utter psychosis. He finds this book from the former tenant and then becomes obsessed with nature's mysticisms. This is when we start really getting into the nitty gritty here. And as of course, of any great eco war, it provides a look at mycology and the mushroom's innate ability to communicate, not just among each other, but with its ecosystem. I'm sorry if you can hear Bugley barking. I'm gonna stop it just because we need to have a little bit of a discussion about this. I really hate to stop it here, but um, this is really disrespectful. I'm sorry. I'll be right. Hey, honestly, I do apologize for that. Honestly, pretty insane how he needs to learn how to strap his manners on. Okay. So we will continue. We will not let us stop us now. So we will continue on. We will brave on as good Irish cultural soldiers, and we will continue discussing great eco horror. So, of course, Eric finds the former tenant's book. He becomes obsessed with nature's mysticisms, and as any great eco horror, it provides a look at mycology and the mushroom's innate ability to communicate not just with each other, but with its ecosystem, which makes fungi a popular and simple means for humans to harness these powers, altering our perception enough to immerse ourselves in Earth's purpose. How real is any of what we're seeing? How much do we actually have the ability to understand our world? We know we have the ability to inhabit four dimensions, but obviously there's speculation that there are many, 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 many more. Even time becomes a flexible dimension with dilation. Is there a plane in which we experience reality for what it is? We know that nature is a living, breathing entity, but what is its reality? What is its perception? And if we viewed it, could we ever come back? Expect an ending that places you in a nightmare experiencing theoretical physics with frightening clarity. What we perceive as an overwhelming terror, the trees just see as life. How far does consciousness extend? How fragile is our own? Push the limits, and you might find yourself in an inescapable, indiscernible prison. So, in the Earth is a perfect complement to this and further delves into humanity's relationship with the world around us. I personally believe this is the best COVID film. I love it. I love Eddington, but this is my favorite COVID film. Okay, it centers on this deadly fungus that's spread into a pandemic, and we all know the fallout from that, right? Mass death, deconstruction of social and economic function, the short and long term effects of isolated mental distress, so on and so forth. So we got scientist Martin. He travels to this government outpost deep in the woods where he meets park ranger Alma. The two are going to go on this journey to, through very remote forest to find Martin's colleague Olivia, who Martin has lost all communication with, since she's been conducting her very solitary research. So no one's heard from her in months. He's out there to be like, I need to find out what's going on. But of course, before they leave, Martin discovers a folk story about a terrifying entity that lives in the woods, complete with children's drawings that further punctuate how frightening this thing is. Because you know what? What is it about kids' drawings? Have we just so forgotten what it's like to view the world through the eyes of a child? Or maybe we simply forget because it's too horrifying to remember. I mean, you have kids come to you and they're like, look at this drawing I did. And you're like, oh my God. Oh my God. What the fuck is that thing? Are you seeing that thing in the dark of your room at nighttime? Are you seeing that thing? And then it's like, oh, it's my dog. And it's like, that is no dog. If that's the way that you see dogs, I don't know how you're not waking up screaming every day. But really, like kids' pictures that are so frightening that make this entity seem even worse than what it is. Because it's like honestly, those pictures are the scariest thing about this like entity, monster, natural thing that's going on out there. But it's like a great point. I loved that part of it because I was like, God, yes. Like children's like that's the perfect way to show how terrifying something is, I think. Is just interpret it through a child's eyes. But these two are very logical. They're like, these are just children's stories. We don't got anything to worry about for real, right? Dead wrong. This is where logic has met the end of the road. This is where it becomes moot. All myths come from some grain of reality, right? So, of course, things take a violent and mind bending turn when they are attacked in their sleep and meet the forest dwelling Zach. Zach. He offers to help them. He's like, he seems like an okay guy. It's like everyone's like a little strange these days, with quarantine under the threat of maybe certain deaths. So it's like he's probably fine. He's probably fine. He's a little weird, but like it's fine. Honestly, like he's a cool guy, you know. Um, but he may be reading too many of these stories to himself in seclusion and may have become frighteningly separated from any reality that these two and the viewer can understand. But is he wrong? You have to remember what movie we're in. Is he wrong though? We saw the kid's drawings. I mean, it's like maybe he's, degraded, devolved his own mind to see through the eyes of a child, but is he exactly wrong? Who's to say? Let's continue on. So we get some really tense gore, some very unnerving photography, and some even scarier tales about communing with it. Who is it? What is it? That's not for Zach to explain. He's not here to, he's not here to educate you. And you know what the thing is? They should know. And deep down, he knows they know. They're just playing this weird game, and they're just delaying the inevitable, which, is like he's Zach is just acting so frankly matter of fact about all this. Like it just further cements their terror and our confusion because we're feeling like we're the ones going crazy. Like this guy seems very cool, calm, and collected. Of like, yeah, you know what, it's coming. And it's like, shit, is it? I don't know. If I was her, I would probably just get wrapped up in the frenzy. To be quite honest with you, I'd be like, dude, it probably is. I don't know. Zach, what do we have to do? But yeah, so he's just so matter of fact about this, and then eventually, we're so confused. They're so terrorized. Nobody knows really what's going on, but they eventually find their way to Olivia's camp. There she is. Hey, Olivia, ever think to, like warn anybody about it? Whatever it is. Like, you need to start talking about it. All right. Like, I'm not doing this anymore, but she's like a bit strange, albeit in a much less daunting way. And she's just sort of like, become real hippy dippy. Like, look, guys, energy, nature, it's like all is one, Like, honestly, like, think about it, like, it might be true. So it goes from like, think about it, it might be true, to like, you know what, it's probably true, to it is so true that we need to do ritualized murder because it needs a sacrifice. And this whole time, while they're thinking that nature is stalking them, trapping them, trying to kill them, it merely wants to show them the way out of all this. This is nature's extension of an olive branch. Mushrooms and their spores, of course, play a heavy role. The great communicators of our natural world. They want to invite us in, but at this point, it's become much more obligatory than that. Earth wants us to survive in tandem, but it can't get through to us with this partnership. So it sends out its spores, acting as, bridging transponders. There is a beast, there is a monster, but we've misinterpreted the message. We're the ones at this point who are confused. We're not intoxicated when we're hallucinating on psychotropic spores. We're seeing the truth for what it is. We're all beings of it, birthed by it, controlled by it. We can never separate ourselves from it, no matter how much we try to burn it all down around us. I really don't want to give too much away, so I'll leave it in the relative abstract for now. But be prepared for a phantasmagoric ride. The sound, the cinematography, the effects, the acting, the vibes, the visuals, everything comes together in a master class. Filmmaking, even though British, at its pinnacle. While I'm not a fan of recreational psychedelics, I do love them in my narratives. Philip K. Dick, my favorite author, movies like this, some of my faves. But I think in life, to enjoy recreational psychedelics, you have to be a simple person. And I know that might be the most controversial thing I have said on here, even more than my emphatic support of Guy Madden and his incestuous passions. But you're a simple minded person if you have fun taking psychedelics, okay? I just, sorry. Like, because this is why I actually believe so strongly in psychedelics for therapy because of their ability to remove walls, to flood compartments, and to lay bare everything that you try to suppress. If you have critical thought, you will think, experience, reflect in a way that you cannot escape. You will see what you perceive as truth. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's real, but you see what you think at your very core. What talk therapy can trick your mind into cloaking will be revealed with such clarity it seems cruel. Unless your mind is perpetually in the shallow end, the kiddie pool of existence. Nature's messengers enter and exit before they even have time to reverberate. And it even goes beyond yourself for the true pioneers. Maybe there is a mother's plea hidden among the far reaches of our mind. The earth needs us. Maybe now more than ever. But I think the most interesting aspect of both of these films are maybe you don't even need psychedelics as a means to get there. What if intuition, the gut feeling that is so innate and yet so easy to write off, is our planet's way of opening up the lines of communication? How many times does a thought, an urge, a song being stuck in your head guide you towards where you need to be? Coincidences are nature's collisions. Where does the inherent right and wrong come from? Teachings, of course, but whose? Maybe everything originates from the same place. Like Jiminy Cricket telling us to wish upon a star, a natural sphere that emits enormous amounts of natural energy, enough to power an entire planet. Is it simply a fluke that so many cultures have folk tales about fairies? The green fairy even becoming a spokesperson for the hallucinations one received from turn of the century absinthe. Of course, this is explained by skeptics as specks of light, orbs of dust caught in the right refraction. But does this light come directly from the star we've wished upon? Is it a celestial gift for our correspondence? But beware, for many questions come with many more questions. Only tread the path if you're ready to be lost. To Finnegan and Wheatley, we're already connected. We've always been connected. But are you prepared to finally understand? So, if we have a world to finish out the month, I have a fun St. Patrick's Day double planned, as well as a couple more Irish films I'd like to showcase before we move into some John Carpenter and some Japanese pirates and modern and classic Italian cinema. Bellissima. So, when you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. If your heart is in your dreams, no request is too extreme. Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. Good luck.